The raft drifted slowly toward the center of the Yellow River. A young woman stood upon it, dressed as a bride. Musicians played along the shore. Priests recited their prayers. Hundreds of people watched in silence. In the city of Yi, this happened every year, and nobody dared ask what became of the brides. This is Simple Tales. Some stories speak of gods and monsters. Others remind us that fear itself can become a kind of monster when people stop questioning it. More than 2,000 years ago, in the city of Yi, life depended on the Yellow River. The river watered the fields, carried merchants across the land, and sustained entire communities. But it could also flood without warning, destroying homes and harvests. The people respected the river, and many feared it. Over time, that fear gave rise to a terrible tradition. The local shamans and officials claimed that the river god demanded a bride each year. If the ceremony was not performed, they warned disaster would follow, floods would come, crops would fail, the city would suffer. Each year, a young woman was chosen. She was dressed in fine clothing and jewelry, placed upon a raft, and sent drifting into the river. The people were told she would be carried to a magnificent palace beneath the water, where she would become the bride of the river god. No bride ever returned. Yet the ceremony continued year after year. Families lived in fear that their daughters might be chosen. Money was collected for the ritual. The shamans gained influence. The officials gained wealth. And because the custom had existed for generations, few dared challenge it. Then, a new magistrate arrived. His name was Ximen Bao. Unlike many officials before him, he paid attention to the people he governed. Soon after taking office, he began asking questions. Why was the city poor? Why were families terrified of the annual ceremony? Why did so much money disappear into preparations for the river god's wedding? And why had no bride ever returned? The answers led him to a simple conclusion. The river god was not demanding brides. The people were being deceived. Fear and superstition had become tools for those who wished to control others. But Ximen Bao understood that simply declaring the ritual false would accomplish little. The people had believed the story for too long. The truth would have to reveal itself. So, when the next ceremony arrived, he attended in person. The riverbank filled with spectators. Musicians played. Officials stood proudly in ceremonial robes. The shamans directed the preparations. Nearby stood the chosen bride, dressed in silk and ornaments, waiting for a fate she had never chosen. Ximen Bao watched quietly. At last, he approached the young woman and examined her carefully. The crowd fell silent. After a moment, he slowly shook his head. A murmur spread through the gathering. The chief shaman stepped forward and asked what was wrong. Ximen Bao calmly explained that the bride was unsuitable. Surely, he said, the river god deserved someone more beautiful. A better bride would have to be found. The chief shaman seemed relieved. Perhaps she believed the magistrate approved of the ceremony. Perhaps she thought he intended to help preserve the tradition. Then Ximen Bao gave his next instruction. Someone should go to the river god immediately and explain the delay. The chief shaman would deliver the message. Before anyone fully understood what was happening, guards seized her and threw her into the river. The crowd gasped. The water closed over her. Then the river became still once more. Silence spread across the riverbank. Ximen Bao waited. Several minutes passed. Then he looked toward the water. The messenger had not yet returned. Perhaps she was still speaking with the river god. Someone should go and hurry her along. His gaze shifted to the city elders. These were the same men who had supported the ceremony for years. The same men who had encouraged the people to fear the consequences of disobedience. Guards stepped forward. One by one, the elders were sent into the river. The crowd watched in stunned silence. Again, Ximen Bao waited. No messenger returned. No divine voice emerged from the depths. No sign appeared from the river god. After another long pause, Ximen Bao observed that the discussions below the water must be taking an unusually long time. Perhaps additional officials should be sent to assist. At that moment, panic swept through the remaining leaders. Their confidence vanished. The men who had spoken most loudly about the river god's wishes suddenly wanted nothing to do with the river. They fell to their knees. They begged for mercy. And then they confessed. The brides had never gone to an underwater palace. The ceremonies were a fraud. The money had been stolen. The people had been manipulated. The river god had demanded nothing at all. For years, fear had protected the lie. Now, fear had turned against those who created it. The villagers listened as the truth unfolded before them. The illusion that had ruled the city for generations finally shattered. The river remained exactly as it had always been, silent, unmoved, indifferent to the stories people told about it. From that day forward, the practice ended. No more brides were chosen. No more families lost their daughters. No more ceremonies were held in the name of a god who had never asked for them. Ximen Bao continued serving the people of Yi, improving irrigation and helping the region prosper. Yet, he became best remembered for the day he stood beside the Yellow River and ended a tradition that everyone else had been too afraid to challenge. What makes this story remarkable is that there is no dragon to defeat and no magical curse to break. The danger came from ordinary people who had learned how to profit from fear. The real battle was not against a monster beneath the water. It was against a lie that had become powerful simply because nobody questioned it. And that may be why this story has survived for more than 2,000 years. It reminds us that fear grows strongest in silence. The moment someone dares to question it, its power begins to fade. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and share it with someone who might enjoy it as well. And If you'd like to hear more myths, legends, and folk tales from around the world, subscribe to Simple Tales. Thank you for listening. Until the next story.